Welcome to another Career Shakers video. For those of you who are thinking about doing a career switch or are interviewing right now, this is a must-watch video for you. Today we're going to be talking about interviewing and answering the world's most common question, tell me about yourself, when you're doing a career switch. This is always tricky. So we're going to go through some key tips and some mistakes that we see a lot of people make. Coming up. Thanks for joining us on the Career Shakers channel, where we are the #1 resource for you when it comes to career switches. And today we are talking about interviewing, specifically the first 30 seconds, which are the most critical in your interview. That's when they say most people make decisions whether they're going to hire you or not. And the first question that you're always going to get is, tell me about yourself. Now, as someone who's doing a career switch, we've got 3 key tips for you that you should keep in mind when answering this question. Now, this is basically a part 2 to another video that we have on the channel, which is tell me about yourself and the 3 most common mistakes. So we'll link that down in the description below or up here in one of these corners. So please check that out if you haven't already watched it. Key point number 1, address the elephant in the room. So as soon as that interview starts, you need to be telling that person that you are not the typical candidate that they normally go for. They already know this. They've probably seen your LinkedIn or your resume, but they called you anyways. So the ball is in your court and you need to take advantage of the situation. Your job is to convince them to essentially take a chance on you. Now, I know what you're thinking, but if I tell them right away that I'm not what they normally go for in a candidate, they're going to hang up on me or reject me right away. Not true. They've already seen your information and they called you anyways. So you need to have your story ready where you're talking about your transferable skills and some of the project or work you're doing either at your current role or outside of work that sets you up to be successful in this job. And this brings us perfectly to tip number 2. Okay, so if you're finding this video to be helpful so far, click that subscribe button down below and comment. Let us know what you think and what our next video should be about. Okay, back to the tips. Key point number 2 is doing your research. You need to do a painstaking amount of research through your networking or from friends where you understand what this person truly does Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday if they typically work weekends. Some of the things you need to know are the skills that you actually need in this job versus what's posted on the job description. What are some of the skills that you can actually learn on the job or that people will be able to teach you quite easily? And what are some of the tools or technology or things that you use day to day that you need to be familiar with? And can you teach some of that stuff before you interview or before you start your next job? Now, this is something a lot of people overlook and oversimplify. When you're doing your networking or taking people out to coffee and lunch, have them show you what they actually do every single day. Show them the different applications that they use. What are the buttons that they're pushing? What is the data that they get? Where does it come from? Who gives it to them? And how does one scenario differ from another scenario, and how does the approach change? This is all the stuff that you need to know and memorize in order to convince someone that you can do this job without actually having done it before. And this brings us to key point number 3. Confidence. You need to have confidence in yourself that you can do this thing because it will give the interviewer confidence in you. Now, how do you gain confidence? Well, if you did tip number 2 correctly, your research should hopefully tell you that, hey, I can really do this thing. Now, that's going to give you some confidence and hopefully it'll rub off on the interviewer. But what truly gives interviewers confidence is when you show, not tell, that you have the transferable skills or can learn quickly on the job. The best way to give them confidence is by showing, not telling. So you should start showing them examples where you're taking this seriously and developing those key skills that are needed in this job. So you should be talking about those projects that you're doing outside of work, or maybe you're taking a class online or getting a certification, or maybe you're doing an internship unpaid just to get some of these skills. This in multiples, of course, you have to give many examples. It's going to give them the confidence that you can really do this thing, and then you'll be on your way. Alright, well hopefully you found these 3 tips to be helpful, and if you want to work with us, check out our website. It's down in the description below. It's careershakers.com. We do specialize in career switches and career transitions, so be sure to check us out, and we'll see you in the next video.